How's it going, everyone? Today I have compiled my favorite stories that I've told in the last year so that you can watch them all. This is great to put on while you're doing something else, or if you need something to go to sleep to, this is a great video to put on. So that being said, leave a like in the video right now to claim your free nothing, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and let's get right into the compilation. Okay, how do I introduce a story like this, man? I mean, you guys can read, you've read the title. All I can say is strap in, buckle up, because this is going to be quite the ride. Subscribe if you're new and you enjoy stories, and let's call today's subscriber who submitted this, let's call this guy Mason. So this all happened one day when Mason was in class, and Mason was in 4th grade when this whole thing went down. And there's a kid who, once again, kind of like wore the same creeper shirt every single day. And it was like the creeper hoodie, and really that's not a big deal. They're like, if you want to wear the creeper hoodie, I don't really care. However, we're just going to call him the Minecraft kid, right? Because of the creeper hoodie. He wore it every single day, and maybe, right? Maybe he has a closet full of like 18 different varieties of the creeper hoodie. Or maybe his mom does a load of laundry every single day. Or maybe he's just wearing the same creeper hoodie every single day. I mean, you guys can believe whatever you want, but I think one of those three are a little bit more likely than the other. But anyways, right, so there's this kid called the Minecraft kid because he wore the creeper hoodie every single day. And he was a little bit strange. And there's nothing wrong with you being a little bit strange. Like, I'm a little bit strange. I mean, I run a YouTube channel, man. I mean, that's already putting me in the strange category, unfortunately. But hey, man, I love the YouTube too much to like drop it or anything like that. But sure enough, this all happened one day when the Minecraft kid was in class with Mason. And the Minecraft kid raised his hand. And another thing you need to know about the Minecraft kid is he would take bathroom breaks like 6 times per class. And I don't know about you, but back in the day, I definitely used to go to the bathroom to like go on my phone or just take a break from the class. However, I would be very like strategic with it. I wouldn't do it every single day. I do it like every other day. I would make sure that I wasn't away for too long, like maybe 5 minutes max. But this kid, bro, would just abuse the bathroom break button. He was like spamming it, just try to like, I don't know, man. But every single day, go to the bathroom, minimum 2 times, maximum like 6 times. That's what I'm told at least. And sure enough, once again, one day, the Minecraft kid raises his hand for the 3rd time in class. And this has been going on for months. And I just think at this point, the teacher kind of just snapped. And he looks at the Minecraft kid. He's like, yes. And the Minecraft kid says, hey, can I go to the bathroom? And here's the thing, right? The teacher should not have reacted in the way that he reacted because maybe this kid has like IBS or something. Maybe he has to go to the bathroom like a ton per day. However, if he did, it was not registered with the nurse, or even if it was, the nurse did not communicate that properly to the teacher, which she probably should have, or he probably should have, just because, I don't know, if a kid's going to the bathroom 7 times per day, that might be a little suspicious to the teacher. However, the teacher was kind of just assuming that the kid was just going in to like go on his phone or whatever. And that was probably the case, but I mean, you really don't know. But after the Minecraft kid says like, hey, can I go to the bathroom for like the 3rd time? The teacher's like, you know what? No, you can't go to the bathroom. And the whole class kind of turns around and is like, wait, whoa, pause. Like, hold up now. Like, this kid's been asking you to go to the bathroom like 7 times a day for the last 6 months. And now you're saying no? Like, what changed, man? And the teacher's like, you're going to have to wait till the end of class. You've been going way too much, way too often. I think you're missing too much of classwork, right? And the Minecraft kid was not happy to hear this. For all we know, maybe he actually did have to go to the bathroom. But Mason, to be fair, right? Mason has gone to the bathroom. He's the subscriber who submitted this story. He's gone to the bathroom at times when the Minecraft kid has been in there. And Mason can hear the volume from his iPhone up all the way. The Minecraft kid is in there playing like Flappy Bird or watching TikToks or whatever, man. He's just going on his phone. Maybe he also has to go to the bathroom, but the Minecraft kid obviously definitely was kind of like, most likely was abusing it just to go to the bathroom. But sure enough, the Minecraft kid raises his hand again. He's like, I gotta go. And the teacher says, like, Minecraft kid, you've gone like 6 times during class, every single day for the last 6 months. You're missing out on class time. Please try and like conserve your like bathroom breaks. I will let you go, but just give it a second. I just can't let you go and disrupt the class like 1,000 times every single day. And the Minecraft kid was getting kind of angry. And he didn't say anything. He wasn't like, no, I really got to go. And the Minecraft kid also didn't just stand up. Unfortunately, I think the Minecraft kid watched a little bit too much South Park. If you guys know what I'm talking about, there's an episode of South Park, which is a TV show kind of aimed for adults, so I wouldn't go search this up if you're too young, but there's this kid named Cartman. And one time, Cartman needed to basically go to the principal's office, so he decided to do number 2 on the desk of a teacher. And I think the Minecraft kid got a little bit too inspired by Cartman, because the Minecraft kid is like, you're going to want, like, I need to go to the bathroom, and you're going to regret it if you don't let me. And the teacher kind of turns around kind of sharply and looks at him and says, like, you shouldn't be threatening people. Like, that's a very bad thing to do. Like, you shouldn't be doing that. He said, you know what? Just because you're threatening me and said in such a threatening voice, you're not allowed to go to the bathroom for the rest of the class. And this only made the Minecraft kid even more upset. And Mason is just sitting here watching this back and forth. And Mason kind of feels a little bit for the Minecraft kid because maybe he really needs to go. Maybe the first 2 times, yeah, I mean, it is kind of karma if you were just going to the bathroom 6 times per day just to go on your phone. However, right, I mean, maybe he really has to go, man. It's kind of cruel to, like, not let someone go to the bathroom when they really need to. But he did just go like 5 minutes ago and 10 minutes before that. So, I don't know. Anyways, right, Mason was sitting there, and the Minecraft kid raises his hand for a final time and says, you're going to let me go or you're going to regret this. And once again, the teacher's like, if you threaten me again, you're not going to be allowed to go to the bathroom ever again when you're in my class. And at this point, the whole class is like, oh, I don't know if they're actually like hyping up like that, but things were getting legit and they could feel it for sure. They're like, oh, dang, dude, like stuff's getting real, right? And sure enough, the Minecraft kid says, very well, have it your way. The teacher kind of like has a little bit of a smile, but quickly brushes it off, probably because he felt like he won that discussion. Like, all right, well, this kid who's been abusing the bathroom system has lost, and I won as a teacher and I asserted my dominance. However, right, dominance was not asserted. In fact, I don't even know how to explain what's about to happen, so I'm going to do my best. Bear with me. Because the Minecraft kid, he kind of like stands up. And the teacher is currently facing the board, so the teacher doesn't notice the Minecraft kid stand up. However, Mason, the subscriber who submitted this story, as well as a bunch of other people, by the way, Mason submitted this to my Instagram. It's in the description. You should go follow it, even if you're not going to go submit stories. Give me a big number and make me feel good. Anyways, Mason is watching this whole thing go down, and he sees that the Minecraft kid stands up from his desk. And then the Minecraft kid stands on his chair. And then the Minecraft kid stands on his desk. And at this point, almost half the class is turned around watching the Minecraft kid because he's making enough of a commotion. In the next, YouTube, please be nice. YouTube, man, I'm going to describe the next thing without making you mad. So the Minecraft kid, well, he drops his pants. He drops his pants. And he says, teacher, and the teacher turns around and is about to be like Minecraft kid for the last time. And he turns around and is like, what? What the, huh? And the Minecraft kid is like, teacher, I told you you would regret not letting me go to the bathroom. And just to put it very, just to be point blank, just to be straight up, just getting right to the point. Yeah, he just, number 2 on the desk, man. It wasn't like anything crazy, right? It was pretty, just a little bit, but yeah. And everyone in the class starts like screaming. Like some of the girls are like, ah! Some of the guys are like, yo, what? That's disgusting, dude. And the teacher's like, Minecraft kid, what on earth are you doing? And the Minecraft kid's like, I told you should let me go to the bathroom, dude. Now you're just paying the consequences. The Minecraft kid was like feeling all full of himself. And the teacher was like, go to the principal's office now. And I don't think the Minecraft kid totally realized what was going on. And the Minecraft kid starts to panic. And the Minecraft kid looks to his left and looks to his right. And when the Minecraft kid looks to his right, you know who he sees? He sees the subscriber. He sees Mason. And he makes eye contact with Mason. And Mason is looking directly at the Minecraft kid and is thinking to himself, oh my God, what? Wow. But then he's like, wait, why is this kid making eye contact with me? And he's like, Mason made me do it. He dared me. And the teacher's like, Mason. Mason's just like, dude, I swear I was just sitting here. What do you mean? And the teacher's like, you know what? Minecraft kid, Mason, and anyone else involved, go to the principal's office right now. And Mason is just like, why? So he gets up, and because he's not going to like fight with his teacher when the teacher's literally going through a massive rage moment. And, he starts walking up, and he walks up to the Minecraft kid. He's like, dude, I don't even know who you are. The Minecraft kid's like, just doesn't say anything. So he walks up to the principal's office, and he sits down, and the principal's like, what happened? And Mason explains the side of the story, that he was just like a bystander sitting there. And then, eventually the Minecraft kid walks in, because he had to, it wasn't like he could, okay, I'm not going to explain why it took him longer, but he got there, right? And sure enough, the principal's like, Minecraft kid, why would you do that? And the Minecraft kid's like, explains the side, and then she's like, and why is Mason here? And the Minecraft kid, who kind of panic blamed him to kind of like lesser the punishment on him, is like, Mason dared me to do it. And Mason's like, dude, I don't even know who you are. You're just in my class. And the principal's like, I don't know, Mason, why would he lie about this? Like, there's literally nothing for him to gain. And Mason's like, dude, I don't know. Real quick, comment Minecraft down below if you want to heart in your comment. That will be the secret word of the day. And I'll try and heart as many of those comments as possible. And also, if you want to help us get to 600,000 faster, binge watch the videos. YouTube really likes promoting my channels when you guys like binge watch a bunch of my videos. So after this video, or when you have the time to sit down and watch a bunch of videos, I've made playlists. You can just like go to my channel page and let me know in the comments when you do this, so I can heart it and say thank you and just give a little bit of appreciation for you guys really helping me out. And I really do appreciate it. Anyways, the story gets even more insane, so stay tuned. So anyways, right, back to the story. Mason is in a position where he was just dragged into this. Honestly, Mason to this day doesn't totally understand why the Minecraft kid even singled him out. Mason and the Minecraft kid weren't close friends. They didn't even really know each other. And Mason just assumes that he randomly looked around and picked someone who he just happened to remember the name of and blamed them just to kind of like lesser the punishment on him. In his mind, or I guess in his panic, the idea was like, oh, if I blame someone else and say that they forced me to do it, my punishment will be lesser, right? Which is like, bro, why? Why would you do that? But anyways, sure enough, the principal, unfortunately, is not believing Mason, because Mason is explaining that he doesn't even know this kid and he has no idea why he would lie. And the principal's kind of doesn't believe him, because he's like, Mason, like, why would the Minecraft kid lie about this, right? It just doesn't make any sense. And the principal's like, well, I guess I just have to make a judgment call in this situation. And Mason, I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to give you a punishment too, because I don't believe you. And Mason is just like, what? Are you serious? And then Mason said, even if I did like dare him to do something ridiculous, it's still up to him. Like, I didn't, for the record, and I stand by that because I don't even know this kid. But if someone was to, why would that even matter? And the principal's like, so you're admitting it? And Mason's like, no, I'm just saying it'd be stupid even if I did. But it's double stupid because I didn't even do it. And the principal's like, don't say stupid to me. Mason's like, I'm in 4th grade. And also, this is double stupid. What can I say? So eventually, right, the principal's like, all right, well, I'm going to have to call both your mothers and explain what happened. And Mason's just like, dude, this is the most ridiculous day of my life. So sure enough, the principal calls up both their mothers saying, hey, both your sons got in trouble. If you're not busy, can you please come in? And the Minecraft kid's mom was busy at the time, but Mason's mom kind of either had the day off or for some reason wasn't really needing to like be wherever she was. And she said, yeah, I'll come in right away. Maybe she was busy and she thought that this was a good idea to go see like what happened to her son. So Mason's mom comes in and she's like, looks at Mason with this look of like, what have you done? And Mason looks at her with these like eyes of like, bro, I don't know what's going on, confusion, whatever, right? The principal is like, all right, hi, Miss Mason's mom, or, whatever. Well, I'm so glad you could come. And the principal explains what happens. And then she kind of explains how she doesn't believe Mason. And Mason's mom started with a look of concern, and then she almost got a look of like annoyance. And the look of annoyance grew and grew the more the principal told the story. And Mason was looking at this and was like, okay, is my mom on my side, or is the look of annoyance because she's so annoyed with me? Either way, this is just the worst situation ever. So sure enough, right, by the end of the story, Mason's mom's like, why am I here? The principal's like, well, didn't you hear, like, your son, supposedly dared him to do it? And Mason's mom, like, first of all, my son disagrees with that statement. You don't really have any proof, but let's say he even did. Why would that matter? And the principal kind of was a little shocked. And Mason's mom's like, isn't it like a cliche saying for parents to be like, if your friend jumped off a bridge, would you as well? Like, are you really just supposed to do whatever the popular kid does? And then Mason's mom's like, even if my son did, which I'm not convinced he did, dared him to do what he did on the desk, right? Why is that my son's fault? Is this kid not like able to function by himself? Like, is the blame 100% not on, the Minecraft kid anymore? Is any of the blame really supposed to be on my son? And the principal's like, well, I'm sorry you feel this way, but I made up my mind. Like, your son's going to be suspended for the day. He can come back tomorrow, but he can't come back today. And the Mason's mom is like, are you serious? Like, really? And she's like, yeah. And then Mason's mom's like, all right, what punishment did the Minecraft kid get? And the principal said, well, we're doing equal punishment. And Mason's mom's like, you can't be serious, man. You can't be serious. And the principal's like, I'm sorry you disagree, but this is the punishment. So Mason's mom's like, Mason, come with me. And Mason's like, oh, I can't tell if my mom's mad or not. So Mason gets up, kind of all scared or whatever, and he sits in the car. And Mason's mom's like, well, this was unexpected, but Mason, today you got a day off. It is your vacation day because that punishment is ridiculous. And then Mason's like, okay, she's on my side. And Mason's mom is like, Mason, please be honest. Did you dare him to do it? And Mason's like, Mom, I promise. Since look, it looks like you're not angry at me either way. Why would I lie about this? Because I didn't do it. I don't even know who this kid is. Why would I dare him to do something so ridiculous? Mason's mom's like, yeah, that's what I thought. But even if you did, like, who cares? And this punishment's ridiculous. So you and we're going to get ice cream. Because today you learned a very good lesson. Sometimes there are rules that are ridiculous and you'll be punished. But stay true to your convictions, man. Stay true to your convictions. Today we get a story of this kid who thinks that he's a wizard and tries to put spells on the subscriber, bro. It's pretty funny, so sit back, relax, subscribe if you like stories, and let's call today's subscriber who sent in the story, let's call him Jacob. So Jacob's in middle school, I don't know exactly what grade, but there's this kid in his class that was always kind of known as like the strange kid, and he was kind of known as the strange kid because he was known as the kid who ran into the girls' bathroom and said, hi ladies, how's it going? And then obviously got escorted out by the security guard, sent to the principal's office where they were like, bro, what are you even doing? Like, that's super weird, yada yada. And from that day forward, he was kind of just known as the weird kid. So fast forward a year later, and this happened at PE. So Jacob still had PE class, aka physical education, for any of you guys who don't call it PE. And today, what they kind of did was they mix it up every single day. They play a different sport or some different activity that was kind of like physical exercise or whatever, right? And today was dodgeball. And so basically, the class was split in two, and half the kids went on one side, one of the teams, and the other half of the kids went on the other team, and Jacob just happened to be on the weird kid's team. And we're no longer going to call him the weird kid, we're going to call him the wizard kid, as you will see quite soon why he's called the wizard kid. So anyways, right, they're playing dodgeball, and Jacob and the wizard kid are on the same team, and it's pretty close. Like, it was divided up randomly, however, it just happened to be like a super even, like, division. So anyways, right, Jacob's team, which is also the wizard kid's team, was starting to, like, fall behind a little bit. It was, like, 5-4, and there was a lot of pressure being put on the team. And if you don't know, in dodgeball, at least the rules that they played by, you were allowed to deflect dodgeballs with your own dodgeball, and you wouldn't get in trouble. But if a stray dodgeball hit you in any part of your body before rolling on the ground, you were basically it, or you were tagged out. So anyways, this all went down when Jacob and, the wizard kid and the other two people on his team were kind of like prepping and preparing for the other team to start throwing dodgeballs at them. And one of the team members on the other side threw a dodgeball really hard at Jacob, but Jacob was pretty good at deflecting the dodgeballs with his ball, so he kind of like outstretches his hand and he deflects the dodgeball. And you would be probably thinking, oh, this is a good thing, right? But no, because the dodgeball, yes, the one coming at Jacob, deflects off of Jacob's dodgeball, so Jacob is not it. However, the dodgeball deflects off of Jacob's dodgeball and hits the wizard kid. And unfortunately, by the rules that they played by, that was considered a point for the other team. So the wizard kid basically got tapped out. And Jacob felt really bad because, one, I mean, that's harming his own chances for his own team. But also, he's like, dang, I just got my own teammate out. So he looks at the wizard kid. He's like, bro, that was an accident, my fault. The wizard kid doesn't really respond, but Jacob just assumes that he was busy walking to the, where all the other team members were that were tagged out. But anyways, right, Jacob and the three remaining teammates actually end up winning. It's super close, and it's like Jacob has a 1v2 at the very end. But Jacob's probably one of the most skilled dodgeball players there. Will those skills transfer to other places in his life? Who knows, man. But at the end of the day, he was pretty good at that dodgeball. So, his whole team rejoices except the wizard kid, who is apparently still pretty mad. Jacob doesn't blame him, like the wizard kid wanted his glory too. The wizard kid was pretty good at dodgeball too, so maybe he would have been the one to do the miraculous 1v2. Who knows, man? But anyways, right, so PE is over and they're walking back to class. And Jacob is kind of walking by himself for a second, and the wizard kid runs up behind him and taps him on the shoulder, and Jacob turns around. And the wizard kid looks at him and says, bro, you just messed with a wizard. That was the worst decision of your life. Jacob at first is like, bro, what? Because he knew that this kid was weird, but he didn't know that this kid was pretended to be a wizard and put spells on people, right? So he was like, bro, I'm sorry, it was a mistake. Why would I want to get my own teammate out? And the wizard kid's like, because you wanted all the glory, right? You wanted all the glory for yourself, and you got it. And you will pay the price. You just didn't know that you were messing with an actual wizard. And once again, Jacob kind of just assumed that he misspoke the first time when he said, oh, I'm a wizard, bro. But then when the weird kid, aka the wizard kid, said it again, Jacob started to realize that no, this kid was not joking. He actually thought that he was a wizard. So Jacob's like, man, seriously, I didn't mean to do it. I wanted my team to win. I didn't care if I was to get out for my team to win, I would have done it. I seriously don't care. And Jacob wasn't even lying. Sure, the glory of being the one who came back for a 1v2 to win for the team. Yeah, he's not going to lie. It was pretty sweet. However, still wasn't worth, it still wasn't worth, it wouldn't be worth losing, right? The glory, he would much rather win than have the glory taken away. But anyways, right, the next day rolls around, and this is when Jacob starts to understand why the wizard kid calls himself the wizard kid. Because he's sitting in class, and Jacob was kind of sitting towards the back of the class, and he happened to have a seat next to him open. And sure enough, right, he had one class with the weird wizard kid, right? And the wizard kid normally sat at the very, very, very front of the classroom, right? But this time, he walked all the way back and sat right next to Jacob. So Jacob right away kind of realized that this was not a coincidence. And the wizard kid is like, hey, do you want to see something? And Jacob's like, bro, what? Class is starting. Because the teacher had already started to be like, all right, class, turn a page, whatever. And Jacob's like, bro, we got to pay attention. Sure, maybe after class, but not now. And the wizard kid's like, all right, too bad then. And Jacob's like, okay. So Jacob takes out his textbook and is starting to open to the page that he's supposed to be. And then sure enough, right, the wizard kid says, hey, Jacob, turn, look at me. And Jacob's like, dude, what? And as he turns his face, the wizard kid blows a pile of glitter into his face. And Jacob starts coughing. He's like, bro, what did you do that for? And then the wizard kid starts going, oobly doobly, oobly doobly, just some real nonsense, pretending it's wizard speak or whatever. And he's like, you just got a curse put on you. And sure enough, right, the teacher looks over, and I think the teacher was just having a bad day, because the teacher's like, you two, go to the principal's office. You're being a distraction. And I mean, Jacob is kind of looking at the teacher like, I was just here, I was just sitting here, and the teacher's like, did you not hear me? Both of you go to the principal's office. Kind of just because I think the teacher was having a bad day and just assumed that they were both being distracting and disrespectful and not paying attention. And the wizard kid is like, look, the curse is already working. And Jacob turns to the wizard kid and is like, bro, if the curse is working, why are you sent to the principal's office as well? And the wizard kid really didn't have a reply besides, the curse is working, bro. I'm sorry that you're so mad and can't accept it. Real quick, comment wizard down below if you want to heart in your comment. I'm going to be out most of the day, so I don't know how many comments I'll be able to heart, so please don't take it personally if you don't get a heart. But I will be looking for comments that say wizard to go ahead and heart them. And also, if you want to support the channel in the best way you possibly can, binge watch some videos either via playlists or in the recommended. And if you're doing so, please comment that you're doing so like these people so that I can heart your comment, reply and say thank you, and let me know what you're doing when you're binge watching the videos. It's always cool to know. Anyways, back to the story. So anyways, Jacob and the wizard kid are walking down the halls to the principal's office, and Jacob is just like, bro, like, I'm not trying to, like, mess with any of this. Like, I'm just trying to learn in class. I'm trying to, like, get my hours in. Why are you doing all this to me? And the wizard kid is like, because you decided to disrespect me in dodgeball. And I told you you'd suffer the consequences. It looks like one of my spells is working. Maybe if you're nice enough to me, I will issue a counter spell. And Jacob does not believe it, and it's like, bro, you're obviously not a wizard. Like, oh, a counter spell would do as much good as, like, an actual spell. And the wizard kid gets really butthurt at this, and it's like, I am a wizard. Can you not tell that, like, the curse I put on you sent us both to the principal's office? And Jacob goes on to say, as they're walking to the principal's office, bro, I don't believe it actually worked, because if the curse was actually effective, it would just be me going to the principal's office, not both of us. Sure enough, they eventually get to the principal's office, and the principal is kind of just like, all right, guys, I got a note from your teacher, or an email, I guess not a note, that you were, like, being distracting in class and distracting others and distracting yourself. Like, can you just tell me what was going on? And the wizard kid is like, ha, I put a spell on him. And the principal's like, okay, and then turns to Jacob, like, why are you here? And Jacob's like, I don't know why I'm here. Like, I was just sitting here, and this kid decides to, like, quote unquote, put a spell on me, which basically just means blows, like, I don't know, not fairy dust, but, like, sparkles and stuff into my face and then say a bunch of nonsense. And then for some reason, I got in trouble too. And when, like, Jacob said for some reason, the wizard kid turns and says, not for some reason, because of the curse. And Jacob's like, you're not a wizard, bro. Like, there's no curse. And the principal's like, guys, I don't know what's going on. I think it's just like, both you guys just go to detention later today and we'll be done with this. And Jacob's like, what? And the wizard kid is like, heh. The curse continues to work. And Jacob once again says, I will reiterate this, but if it was actually a curse, why are you receiving the same punishment as me? And the wizard kid is like, you're just mad because you're realizing the curse is real. And Jacob's just so mad at this point. He's like, bro, this is so stupid. So sure enough, Jacob and, the wizard kid, they go back to class, and, Jacob he's just not paying attention because he's just so mad that he has to go in and, he has to go to detention later that day. He's not trying to do that. And sure enough, time eventually comes around, and it's time for them to go to detention. And Jacob and the wizard kid, they get up and, they walk over and they go into detention, and there's like a few other kids there or whatever. And sure enough, right, Jacob sits on the back, and the wizard kid sits right next to him, and Jacob's like, bro, I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to sit next to you. Can you please just leave me alone? And the wizard kid's like, well, if you don't believe in my spells, I'm going to keep putting spells on you till you believe it. And Jacob's like, fine, put as many spells as you want on me. Like, trust me. Anything that's happened today is just bad luck on my part. And the fact that you're getting the punishment too kind of proves to me that these spells aren't real. So the wizard kid's like, fine, well, I'm going to, how we're getting. So basically, they had a pretty big test that they were getting back. They did it about a week ago, but they were receiving their grades back the next day. So the wizard kid's like, fine, well, I'm going to put a spell on you. And because of the spell, you're going to fail the major test we're getting back. And Jacob's like, well, I know I did pretty well on it because I knew the answers to basically every question, and the teacher's already graded them, so it's not like the grade will be changed, so sure, let's, put a spell on it, right? And Jacob's like, well, how about you also put a spell on your test to make you do well, so that I'll fail and you get an A. And if that actually happens, both of those things happening, right? I'll believe that you're a wizard, I'll bow down, I'll accept your glory as a ruler or whatever, right? The wizard kid's like, fine, like, fair enough. And the wizard kid, like, takes out a little stick and starts waving it around as, like, biddly boodly, goodly billy. It just says something like nonsense or whatever. And so at this point, Jacob was like, all right, well, this is going to prove to this kid that, like, his wizard powers are fake because I know for certain that, I did well. However, Jacob is starting to feel like, wait, Because remember, dude's in middle school, don't make fun of him, but he's like, wait, what if this kid actually does have wizard powers? What if this kid can actually put a spell on me, right? And he's like, no, that's ridiculous, Jacob, come on now. But Jacob's like, wait, did I just give myself an F? But then he realizes, wait, no, like, come on now, like, okay, obviously, I did well on this test. And the kid's gonna realize tomorrow that he's a fraud. Sure enough, eventually, detention or, I don't know, whatever they were in, it ends, and the next day rolls around, and they go back to the class where they both had a major assessment being passed back. And this time, right, Jacob makes sure that the wizard kid sits right next to him. He's like, all right, well, we're gonna see if your spell actually works. And the wizard kid is like super, I don't know, he's like, super full of himself. He's like, I don't know why you'd want to fail an assignment you work so hard on, like, just because, like, you wanted to test if I was actually a wizard, like, that's so ridiculous. You just played yourself, bro, stuff like that. But sure enough, right, the teacher eventually goes around and starts handing back the tests. And the first test that was handed out was Jacob's, and Jacob got an A on the assessment. So he takes the paper, flips it around, and shows it to the wizard kid. He's like, oh, looks like your spell didn't work. And he's like, well, so, and Jacob's like, all right, just admit it, checkmate, I got you. And he's like, well, the problem is actually that, I just didn't do the spell properly. And Jacob's like, all right, well, did you do the spell properly for your test? And the wizard kid's like, oh, yes, 100%, I'm getting an A on this. And to be fair, Jacob was definitely kind of like, he was kind of being a little risky here because the wizard kid maybe was also like really smart or cheated or something, but for some reason, maybe the wizard kid actually did get an A. But Jacob was kind of like assuming that the kid was going to be too busy doing spells to actually study. So sure enough, the teacher hands back the wizard kid's paper, and you could already tell that the kid did not do well because the teacher handed back every single test face up except for the wizard kid's test, handed that one face down. And yeah, sure enough, the wizard kid flips over the paper and Jacob is watching and there's a big F in a red circle. And the wizard kid, after seeing the F, quickly flips over his paper again and is like, look at that, I actually got an A. Looks like my spells are right. And Jacob's like, bro, I saw the F. Like, I know you failed this. You're probably too busy doing the spells to actually study. The wizard kid's like, no, bro, I got an A. And, like, I think Jacob did this quick enough that the wizard kid was just not able to react. Because sure enough, right, Jacob reaches over and quickly flips over the wizard kid's paper. And there's a big, massive F and a circle on it, being like, oh, so you got an A now? The wizard kid's like, that's just a typo. You can ask the teacher. And the wizard kid kind of just said that because, like, obviously Jacob's not allowed to say, hey, what did this random classmate get on this major assignment? Like, the teacher's going to be like, mind your own beeswax, bro. Like, obviously. So Jacob's like, all right, wizard kid, you proved to me that you are not a wizard. He's like, no, I'm going to keep putting spells on you till, like, you realize. And, so for the rest of the week, the wizard kid would come in and blow, like, bubbles on him or, like, I don't know, fairy dust or all this kind of stuff and like say a bunch of random stuff. But yeah, Jacob did not have any other negative side effects that happened that week. And the wizard kid eventually realized that, yeah, he was not a wizard and that he was not able to convince Jacob that he was a wizard. So eventually the dude stopped and
How's it going, everyone? I hope you're having a pretty good day, because today we have a story of a Gen Z kid who thinks the moon is actually made out of cheese, ends up betting all the pocket money that he has on it, and, well, gets really mad when people tell him that the moon is actually, in fact, not made out of cheese. Leave a like in the video to claim your free nothing, and let's jump into it. So we're going to call the subscriber who submitted this story Johnny. So anyways, let me tell you a little something about Johnny's school. They were all in 7th grade, and they still got recess at that time. So anyways, when they would get recess in 7th grade, there was something called the school casino that was ran by the school mafia. I know, we're getting into quite an interesting start. So obviously it wasn't school sponsored because, shocking, the school doesn't actually sponsor a gambling casino for little kids. I mean, this isn't Steak and Twitch right now, bro. Like, this isn't Twitch, bro. But anyways, yeah, so sure enough, It was run by the students, and it was very like underground and low key. And basically what they would do is you could bring in either some pocket change, you could bring in some candy, you could bring in some Pokemon cards. As long as it was something as everyone saw as valuable, there was kind of like a whole conversion chart, like a certain type of Pokemon card was worth a certain amount of dollars, worth a certain amount of like, dude, I think they'd even allow you to do like credits of like Robux. So you could write on a piece of paper, basically an IOU being like, I'll give you this many Robux, I'll give you this many V-Bucks. Like basically you could bet with whatever you had as long as people wanted it and as long as it was something that you could actually give away. Like you can't bet your TV because, dude, probably, bro, like your mom's not going to let you go into your TV and be like, oh yeah, by the way, can I have this? So in the middle school mafia, they would basically run, or I guess the high school, well, no, 7th grade is middle school. So the middle school mafia would run all the quote unquote casinos in the playground. And there would be a lot of different events you could bet on. For example, you guys could have a 1v1 basketball match. And to all the teachers watching the kids on the playground, it just looked like a bunch of kids were playing casual 1v1 basketball. But little did they know, they were literally having a massive like gambling type tournament, right? Little did they know. However, you could also make very specific bets. For example, you guys could play like a lot quicker matches. Think of it like if you wanted to play a whole poker game versus slot machines. Sometimes you want to go in there, do a little bit faster, or you want to do something else. So there was an option where what you could do is you could make smaller bets on something. For example, you could have like a 2 out of 3 rock, paper, scissors, and you both put down like, I don't know, a Hershey's Kiss or something. Normally, like the middle school mafia, what they would do is basically they would take a cut. Like, bro, this was a legitimate business, especially for 7th graders. They would take a cut of the total pie, so they wouldn't let you just put down like one Hershey's Kiss because they're like, hey, bro, how are we supposed to take a tenth of a Hershey's Kiss? But like, if you're betting like V-Bucks, you'd have to give them like a small percentage of the V-Bucks, right? So it was actually kind of funny. It was like a legitimate mafia, but for middle schoolers and betting on random stuff. But one very popular thing was basically like you could go in and bet with someone like about a fact. For example, you could go in and, bet about like, oh, like I think Drew and Nancy are going to start dating within the next 2 weeks. Then you would go in and you get odds for that. So basically like, oh, there's like people would get like basically the people betting against it would come up with like, okay, well, I don't think it's going to happen. What odds do you want to give? They'd eventually all decide on odds, and then you could make money if your friend got with this girl or not. It was a pretty crazy time to be alive, to say the least. Yeah, so anyways, though, there was also, you could bet on a specific fact, as I was saying. So this story all starts one day, right, when Johnny, who we're going to call the subscriber who submitted this story, Johnny, right? This story all starts one day when Johnny, entered the playground casino, right? So it was very nonchalant. They didn't want to, like, I don't know, go into a supply closet and write, underground casino, don't tell the staff, right? Because that would be a pretty clear indication of, what they were doing, and that would get them caught pretty quickly, to say the least. So what they ended up doing is they would always move locations, and it would be just basically what you'd need. A few middle school mafia members would come together. It's so crazy I'm saying that so nonchalantly. I'm literally just saying, oh, middle school mafia, like it's nothing. However, yeah, you get a few middle school mafia members together, right? And basically they would facilitate the thing, make sure it went down, and of course take their cut. So anyways, we're going to call this kid the Gen Z kid. And we're going to call him the Gen Z kid because he spent way too much time on TikTok. The only reason you guys should be on TikTok is to follow my account at Pugs. And I basically just upload my YouTube shorts on there, so you really don't even need to follow me. But if you're on TikTok anyways, go drop me a follow. Maybe we can save some more people from TikTok. They'll find me on there, then they'll come over here, and they'll be on the good platform. But anyways, right, we're going to call this kid the Gen Z kid because he spent so much time on TikTok that he basically got his entire worldview and all the information about everything from TikTok. I mean, the amount of misinformation that this kid believed was fact was actually a crazy number. And that's just because he got all of his information from TikTok. Bro, if you're getting your weekly recap from like some guy on TikTok screaming at you, telling you to like and subscribe, dude, I tell you to like and subscribe because I'm a YouTuber telling you stupid stories. I'm not telling you like important information that will affect your day to day. Yeah, so the Gen Z kid basically got all of his information off of TikTok, and this is why this kid was able to be convinced that the moon was actually made of cheese. Yeah, I'm not even kidding you right now, bro. So it's like a common funny saying or common expression or whatever. Oh, the moon is made of cheese. But even as a kid, like, I never believed the moon was made of cheese. I believed a lot of stuff, by the way, but I still never believed that the moon was actually made of cheese, because I at least knew that there were no cows on. The moon was not made births from some big old cow that, like, got milked, and then the milk kind of, like, formed into cheese, right? Like, I had enough common sense that I knew that that was just definitely not a thing that could happen. However, this TikTok kid, or I should really say Gen Z kid, because he could have been on Instagram Reels for all I know, or maybe he's really gone to the dark side and he's on, Snapchat Spotlight. Ooh. Anyways, though, yeah, so sure enough, this kid actually believes that the moon is made out of cheese, right? And somehow, Johnny hears of this. And the thing is, Johnny doesn't even totally know how he knows this for a fact, but basically, kind of like, I think this Gen Z kid must have very casually dropped it in conversation, just like speaking about outer space, and someone must have picked up on it. So, like, kind of like a little low-key rumor spread that this kid, aka the Gen Z kid, genuinely believed that the moon was made out of cheese. And obviously people weren't going to let this slide. So Johnny decided that, you know what, okay, this kid believes something that is obviously false. Let me actually make some money off of this. Let me profit off of my friend's ignorance. Which, I mean, hey man, I'm not going to come for this guy. He's got to get his bread somehow. And, like, I guess that's how the Gen Z kid's going to learn that the moon is actually not made out of cheese, from losing a lot of money because of his beliefs. I don't know, man. Sometimes that's really effective. Yeah, but anyways, right. So Johnny and the Gen Z kid, basically Johnny goes up to the Gen Z kid and says, hey, like, do you want to go to, like, the underground casino or whatever? Because the Gen Z kid was a little weird, but, like, basically every kid in the class was involved. Like, it was a really big deal. Basically the Gen Z kid's like, sure, bro, like, whatever. So they go there, and Johnny's like, hey, man, like, do you want to make a bet? And obviously the Gen Z kid's like, okay, it depends on what. And Johnny's like, what the moon is made out of. It's a very specific comment. And part of Johnny was thinking that, like, okay, well, there's a chance that someone's, like, pulled the Gen Z kid aside and is like, hey, bro, I hate to break it to you, but the moon is not actually made out of cheese. Like, I gotta let you know a fact that'll be super important for your life. Basically, bro, the moon is not made out of cheese. It's made out of rock, okay? Got that? Cool. So no, apparently no one had done that. Because, you know, the Gen Z kid looks at him and is like, okay, sure. And so basically, right, he lets the Gen Z kid go first. So they find two people in the middle school mafia. They go up to them, and, like, Johnny's like, all right, bro, we're trying to make a bet. Can you help us out? And they're like, yeah, sure. Like, okay, what do you want to make a bet on? And Johnny looks at them and is expecting them to give, like, him a look because of what he's about to say, which, in all fairness, what he's about to say is pretty funny. Yeah, so when Johnny tells the guy in the middle school mafia that they're actually going to be making a bet on what the moon is made out of, I think the guy kind of gives them a weird look, but maybe he was like, oh, maybe it's a really specific bet. So, like, oh, is the moon made out of what type of rock? Not if the moon was made out of rock versus cheese. Like, no one would have saw that coming. Like, I get it. If someone's like, oh, what are the components of, like, asphalt? Okay, I can get that. Like, that's a question I don't really know without looking up, but I can definitely see how people might make two different bets on that. However, just is it made out of rock versus, like, I don't know, bread? Okay, pretty clearly, asphalt, basically the stuff on like, if you guys don't know what that is, that's like a lot of driveways, a lot of black driveways use asphalt for, like, the material. If you're making a bet on what types of rocks are in it, I get that. But if you're making a bet on if it's made out of rock or cheese or bread or something like that, like, bro, what kind of bet is that? So anyways, how this thing would work was basically you guys would both give an answer, and then they'd agree on a way to validate it. So one way to validate it would be to look it up on Google, and they both agree to that. So both of them were not allowed to look it up beforehand, but yeah, so on the middle school mafia guy looks at the Gen Z kid and is like, okay, what bet do you want to officially put in? Well, first of all, before that, they're like, all right, what are you going to put down for payment? So anyways, they both have $5 on them, $5 bill on Johnny and five $1 bills on the Gen Z kid. So they gave it to the middle school mafia member. He holds on to it. He's like, all right, I'm going to take $1 from the pot at the end of the day. And anyways, so what are your bets? And so he looks at the Gen Z kid. And the Gen Z kid looks at him and he says cheese. And the middle school mafia guy's like, eh. Yeah, so the middle school mafia guy looks at the Gen Z kid and kind of gives him this real look of, are you sure that's your final answer, bro? Like, out of all your answers, are you sure that's your final answer? And he doesn't say it because they're very good about not trying to, like, push someone towards the right answer. He just pauses for a second before asking Johnny for his. It's just such a goofy answer that I can understand that he's like, is this like a joke answer? And he's going to, like, correct it. So he gave him a second to, like, correct his answer, but no, it was his legit answer. His legit answer was just simply, oh, it's made out of cheese, right? Of course, right? So Johnny looks at him and says, rock. So, you know, the middle school mafia guy is like looking at them, trying to figure out this is some kind of elaborate prank, but then again, he doesn't question that. He's like, okay, final answer for what the moon is made out of, Gen Z kid, you said cheese, and Johnny said rock, right? And they both agreed. So he's like, all right, I will come back with your answer in 30 seconds. And with that being said, let's make the secret word of the day cheese. So if you made it this far into the video, comment cheese down below in the comment section. And while you're in the comment section of this video commenting cheese, make sure to look at the pinned comment on this video, as there's a link to the Spotify page in which I upload all these stories as podcasts. So if you like using Spotify and want to listen to these as podcasts on there, that's the official link. I think it's also on Apple Podcasts, but I don't have a link for that. But I do have a page. And also check out the second channel, as I am uploading more story videos, but those are from Reddit, where these are from you guys. So you guys get more stories and a more variety of them as well. Anyways, let's get back to it. So sure enough, the Gen Z kid is kind of waiting there, and Johnny they're both waiting there, and the Gen Z kid doesn't look nervous at all. He looks very confident with his answer, and I think pretty obviously Johnny is confident with his answer, because when you're taking a bet against is the moon made of cheese or rock, I'm pretty sure you can be fairly confident with your answer, bro. Like, I don't know about you, but I think I wouldn't be quivering in my boots, right? I don't think I would be, so sweating buckets, right? Oh my God, I'm so nervous. What if it's actually made out of cheese and I've been wrong the whole time? No, I will not be worried about that. So eventually the middle school mafia kid comes back and he's like, all right, well, after about 1 second of research, Johnny wins. The moon is made of rock. It's not made of cheese. The Gen Z kid is like, no, you must be mistaken. And the middle school mafia kid's like, no, look at this. Pulls up like Google search, and it doesn't say rock, but it says some type of rock, right? And so the Gen Z kid's like, no, that's a type of cheese. And the middle school mafia guy's like, bro. And the Gen Z kid's like, what? So the middle school mafia guy's like, so he goes to, like, he copy and pastes whatever the name of, like, the rock that the moon is made out of, types that into Google, and it shows, yeah, okay, that whatever that was a type of rock. So at this point, the Gen Z kid is like, okay, this is insane. Your information is wrong. Your facts are wrong. I want my money back. And the middle school mafia kid's like, sorry, bro, that's not how it works. So he takes $1, puts it in his pocket to go to the middle school mafia fund, and then gives the $9 to Johnny. And the Gen Z kid's like, whoa, bro, I just got robbed. Like, my information is true, and I just got robbed. So I think it's pretty obvious that he did not get robbed. He just played himself, bro. I think we all can agree with that. But anyways, right, sure enough, the Gen Z kid is getting really mad about this. He's basically throwing a big temper tantrum about how his information is, his facts are real, and your opinion, yeah, what he said was facts, and that, like, you can't tell him otherwise, and that the whole thing is rigged, and that Johnny must have paid off the middle school mafia, and that they're all going to regret it. So here's the little thing about the middle school mafia. It always existed on extremely thin ice, because pretty obviously the school wouldn't really like something like this. I mean, it's literally a bunch of kids cosplaying as an actual mafia and running a casino. Like, bro, I can see why the school maybe not be they might not be a big fan of this, bro. And because the middle school mafia and the whole, like, casino type thing was on just, like, such thin ice, basically if at any point anybody snitched, the whole thing would be over. The reason why nobody snitched up to this point is that, like, everyone kind of had at least one good experience. Sure, people would lose, but it would never be over anything too crazy, and it would always feel fair, because, if you lose a basketball match, that's tough. But like, I guess most of the kids were just motivated to go back on the court and beat the other person instead of trying to tear the whole thing down. But here's the thing, the Gen Z kid who genuinely believes that the moon is made out of cheese must have felt as if that he was personally slighted by the fact that, you know, he wasn't or his answer wasn't chosen, therefore the whole system's corrupt. Therefore, why would he protect a system that he believes robbed him of his $5 and also is just corrupt and will rob people again in the future? Because if it's a corrupt institution, like, what's stopping them from doing it again to other people? At least that's the logic of this Gen Z kid. But then again, this is the logic of someone who thinks the moon is actually made out of cheese. But anyways, the next day, is a little different from most other days. Because when Johnny comes into school, every kid has this weird look on his face. And all the teachers are not very happy. And sure enough, soon on the school announcements, right, once they all get to first period, there's an announcement saying instead of recess, they're all going to a mandatory meeting. So you already know that you're in trouble if the teachers cancel your recess for a mandatory meeting, right? And most kids could probably figure out what it was about. They didn't know at this point who was the one who snitched on them, but they knew for a fact that someone did. Yeah, so basically, after a couple classes, it was recess time, but instead of recess, everyone was shuffled off to the school auditorium. And in the school auditorium, there was like all the teachers were standing up there, and they started so basically they said, hey, we have been informed what's been going on. We want to let you know that that is not acceptable on school grounds or whatever. You guys should know better. Like, you know, gambling is whatever, right? So then they go into like a 20-minute long presentation about the risks and dangers of gambling, which is totally legit. A lot of people destroy their entire lives around gambling. It is an addiction, stuff like that. And so they're pretty legit for doing this, right? Actually, I think the school made a good choice coming in and stopping this, even though it does sound pretty fun. But yeah, the entire time, like, people are talking around, like, who did this, like, who told or whatever. And that's when, right after the meeting, later on, apparently word starts getting around that the Gen Z kid was bragging to people that he was the one who shut down the middle school mafia because they were, like, unfair to him, right? So yeah, sure enough, the Gen Z kid basically becomes a social outcast because, look, everyone loved this system, so when you say that you're the one who tore it down. Today we got a story time of a Minecraft kid who sinks the cruise ship. I don't even know anymore. You guys have a crazy life with these Minecraft kids. But I know you'll enjoy this story, so sit back, relax, subscribe to the channel if you're new, leave a like on the video to claim your free nothing. And with that being said, let's just jump right into it. So anyways, right, the subscriber was going on one of those like commercial cruise type things that you see, I don't know, on TV sometimes. He was going on it with his mom and his dad, and it was like a massive cruise ship with a ton of people. Anyways, though, so there's like a bunch of different like levels. There's like level 1, level 2, level 3, and you know, there's a ton of cabins. So they get on the cruise ship and they're bringing all their stuff on, and the subscriber's never been on the cruise ship. I've never been on a cruise ship, bro. Honestly, I don't know if I'd want to. It just seems like I'm not trying to go on vacation with like so many people. I'm just trying to sit in a cave somewhere by myself. Okay, that actually doesn't sound that fun. Ignore what I just said. Anyways, though, but so the subscriber and his friend and his friends and his parents are bringing their stuff up, and they're walking up over to their cabin. So they also happen to be walking to their cabin at the same time that their neighbors next door, or I should say the neighbors to them in the cabin, not their neighbors back home, were walking up to their cabin too. So anyways, the subscriber's mom is like, oh, hello, like, we're your neighbors, at least for the next week. And the Minecraft kid's mom, because I'm just going to spoil it and say that they're neighbors next to the Minecraft kid. The Minecraft kid's mom is like, oh my God, like, how is it going? What's your name? Like, you have a son too? How old is he? And the subscriber's mom's like, oh, he's 14. And she's like, oh my God, my son's 13. They're going to be best friends this trip. And so the subscriber looks over at the Minecraft kid, and he's trying to be open about it, but he looks over and the Minecraft kid literally has his iPad like 2 inches away from his face, and you hear creeper noises coming from it. So bro is actually playing Minecraft on his iPad in the middle of a conversation. Anyways, though, so the subscribers kind of just like, okay, I guess we're gonna be friends, even though we're probably not gonna interact at all, because Minecraft Kid is got his head in the gunner, head in the gutter, head in the gutter, right? Anyways, though, so they kind of talk a little bit, and then they go into their rooms. So the moms exchange numbers because, of course they did, and so they're unpacking their stuff, and the mom says, "Oh my God, like subscriber, like." You have a little buddy on this trip too? Like, what more could we ask for? And the subscriber's like, I mean, maybe. The mom's like, what do you mean, maybe? And the subscriber's like, dude, I don't think he says dude to his mom, but he's like, Mom, like, he was, like, he didn't even acknowledge me. He was playing Minecraft on his iPad the whole time, right? And, the subscriber's mom's like, subscriber, he's probably just shy. He probably thinks you're so cool and is just really shy. And the subscriber's like, yeah, sure, Mom. I'm sure that's what's up. I'm sure he just thinks I'm so cool. And that's why he's ignoring me and playing 17,000 hours of Minecraft instead. You're totally right on this one. Anyways, though, so yeah, sure enough, the subscriber and his mom unpack, they get all their stuff, and they head down to dinner, / kind of like the common area, cruise deck type place. If I get some terminology wrong, I've never been on a cruise ship. I'm doing the best with what I've gotten for cruise ship terminology-wise. Anyways, though, so they all head off to dinner. And so you can kind of sit wherever you want. The stuff's served buffet style, at least for now. And so they start to walk over. And that's when the subscriber, because there's not a lot of kids his age, because it's definitely like a grandpa retirement type cruise ship. So there's not a lot of kids his age. The Minecraft Kid is just like one of like a few. But there is another person on this cruise ship, and it's this girl. And this girl, in the subscriber's eyes, is like, oh my God, this is going to be my cruise ship love or whatever. I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. But anyway, so he sees this girl, and we'll just call her Ava, which I know, I'm not creative. I say the same name every time. I'm sorry. Anyways, though, so Ava only becomes important later on in the story. I just wanted to introduce her now, so it's kind of like you'll get a little taste of what's to come. So anyways, the subscriber and his parents are, they're in line, and they're getting their food. And the subscriber's mom is looking around like, oh my God, where should we sit? And then she looks over at a table that is mostly empty, except for one family sitting there, and it's their neighbors, the Minecraft Kids family. And she's like, oh my God, Cheryl's over there. We gotta go. And the subscriber looks over to the Minecraft Kid, and in one hand, he's holding a fork, eating food, and in the other, he is on his iPad playing Minecraft. And he's like, oh my God. So anyways, they walk over, and the subscriber's mom's like, Cheryl. And the Minecraft Kid's mom looks up, and she's like, oh my God. Dude, I swear, look, I love moms. But the way that they interact with each other is just so funny sometimes. They're always like, oh my God, Cheryl, I haven't seen you since yesterday. Drops the knees, starts crying. Dude, I don't know. I mean, I guess it's better than like dads who just are like, hey, what's up? Haven't seen you in a year. Been too long. Or not been long enough, actually. Anyways, though. So yeah, they sit down, and the subscriber sits down next to the Minecraft Kid because he kind of has to. And the Minecraft Kid is like, hello. And the subscriber's like, what's up, man? He's like, don't distract me. I'm playing Minecraft. He's like, okay, that's how it's going. Good to know. All right, now. Cool. So yeah, the subscriber already knows that he's going to be in for a ton of fun with the Minecraft Kid, because the Minecraft Kid is so fun. Yeah. So the subscriber's kind of just like, all right, so this kind of just what's up. Like, cool. Like, not much more I can do. That's all right. So they're sitting there, and so the subscriber, his attention is 2 tables over, because that's where this girl, who we're going to call Ava, the one that I introduced earlier, is sitting there with her parents. And she's not sitting there with her boyfriend or anything, so it's looking good. It's looking good. Hopes aren't dashed yet. Anyways, so, the subscriber's looking over there, and the Minecraft Kid looks over at the same direction. He's like, oh my God, she is literally going to be my Minecraft girlfriend by the end of this trip. And the subscriber looks over at the Minecraft kid, and the Minecraft kid is looking at the same girl as him. He's like, dude, okay, it's not like the subscriber was worried about the Minecraft kid, because bro's social interactions are limited to interacting with villagers in Minecraft. But he was just like, oh my god. Anyways, so he tries to have a conversation with the Minecraft kid. He's like, so, what do you do for fun? He says, Minecraft. The subscriber's like, okay, nice. Anything else? He's like, no, just Minecraft. He's like, okay. And then the Minecraft kid's like, well, actually, I do Minecraft speedrunning, and Minecraft PvP. So I guess you could say that I do more than just Minecraft. The subscriber decides like, dude, no, you could not actually just say that, because you are just doing Minecraft, just with different font. Anyways, so the subscriber's like, oh, okay, haha, cool, man, like, nice. So they end up just kind of sitting there awkwardly in silence as the parents continue to talk with each other. And that's when the Minecraft kid brings up this girl again, because like she's literally like the only girl their age on their cruise ship. But he's like, dude, I'm going to literally make her my Minecraft girlfriend. And the subscriber's like, okay, man, that's cool for you. Okay. Yeah, so anyways, right, we'll just close up that day because nothing else really interesting happens. The next day, though, comes around, and it's lunchtime. And lunchtime, it's kind of the same deal, but this time, like, they're actually, like, you can bring out... The type of food that they were serving, it was kind of more like, I guess, food you could eat with your hands or whatever. So they were encouraging people to go out on the deck and, like, talk to each other or just, like, watch the ocean. I don't know you do on a cruise. I feel like you just sit there and then you're done. I don't know. Okay, obviously not meant for me. But so the subscriber at this point is like, you know what? I got 6 days left. Let's make this fun. Let's, talk to this girl, right? Because worst case scenario, she says no very awkwardly. And yeah, I have a couple days where I have to stick pretty close to my parents, which is fine to kind of avoid her. But then we get off the cruise ship and I never see her again, right? Who cares? Best case scenario, I'm going to have a fun 6 days, right? And even if I don't get her to like me back, it's like, it's an experience, man. It's like, it's an adventure. It's a challenge. Like, I'm playing the game. Even if I win or lose, I get to play. So the subscriber's like, all right, goes over and like seeks her out. So he's kind of looking around. He's kind of going on the deck. And then he sees her, and unfortunately, she's kind of like standing with her parents, and he's like, oh my God. Because he can't be like, hey, random girl and her parents, what's up? Like, I just wanted to say, I think sir, I think your daughter is so hot, haha. Like, you just can't do that. But the subscriber watches, and the girl kind of like goes off on her own for a second, and is just like sitting by herself, like on her phone. Maybe she just wanted her time away from her parents. Who even knows? So the subscriber goes up and, introduces himself, which, I mean, man's brave. I got a little bit of respect for that. Anyways, though, it should be noted that the Minecraft kid saw this. And if you don't remember, he was talking to the subscriber about how this girl was literally going to become his Minecraft girlfriend. So, I mean, this is an epic betrayal of insane magnitude, according to the Minecraft kid. Anyways, though, so the subscriber kind of like talks up this girl, gets her Snapchat, and whatever, right? That's not the important part that's not the important details. What's important is the subscriber starts to walk back. He's like, oh, because he's in a good mood. He's doing pretty good right now because he's like, oh my God, like, I just got her number. Sorry, I got her number, Snap, whatever. I'm going to like ask her to hang out tonight. We're going to like maybe sneak out and stand on the deck when it's all dark. I don't know. But as he's walking back, he sees the Minecraft kid, and the Minecraft kid is up to him. And this is the first time that he's not like engulfed in his iPad playing Minecraft. And the Minecraft kid's like, he's like angrily breathing. And the subscriber's like, did bro walk up one flight of stairs and is about to pass out? What's going on right now? And the Minecraft kid is like, you betrayed me. Real quick, if you made it this far into the video, comment ship down below, S-H-I-P. That'll be the secret word of the day, and it'll let me know how many people made it this far into the video. And also, if you're listening on YouTube and you use Spotify and you don't follow us / listen to these stories on Spotify, you totally should. There's a link in the description as well as the pinned comment. And finally, as a lot of you guys know, we have a little bit of a challenge going into the summer. It's kind of like helping the channel out, also a little community building challenge. It is the binge watch / just like, you know, watch session challenge. So what you do is you comment down below in the comment section how many videos today or maybe this week or whatever you want to say, how many videos you watched today or this week, right? It just really it helps out when you sit down and watch a lot of videos in a row, if you just watch a lot of videos. So comment down how many videos you watched. Here are some people on screen right now that have done so. So thank you to these people. Thank you to you. And with that all being said, let's get back to the story. And also, of course, you can specify if you watch the movie length, 3-hour long videos, because, you know, that's basically like watching 10 videos, and I do appreciate it. Anyways, though, so yeah, sure enough, the Minecraft kid is seething with rage and anger. He is so mad right now. He is so mad. And the subscriber's like, dude, it's not that deep. I need you to trust me on this. It's not that deep. And the Minecraft kid's like, you've taken away my Minecraft girlfriend, and I am angry. And the subscriber's like, okay, like, this is so bad. I don't want to deal with this kid. I have to sit next to him, or I'm neighbors with him for the next 4 or 5 days, however many days are left. Like, this is not ideal at all. So they're standing on a side of the deck, right? On a certain side of the deck. I don't really know ships that well. The Minecraft kid starts getting like super mad or whatever. He's like, He starts just like going around just like pushing stuff. And the subscriber's like, oh my God, like, okay. And so the Minecraft kid goes over to a chair and pushes it over. He's like, I'm so mad right now. And the subscriber's like, jeez, dude, I'm just so uncomfortable, bro. I'm just so uncomfortable. So the subscriber's like, dude, calm down. It's literally not that deep. And the Minecraft kid's like, no, when are we going to be my Minecraft girlfriend? And so what the Minecraft kid does next is he pushes something over. He like, so there was something like on wheels that was really heavy. I don't know what it was, but, you know, something on wheels so that something really heavy could be pushed by a Minecraft kid. And he pushes it into like the railing. So there's multiple levels to the cruise ship, and the Minecraft kid pushes this really heavy thing and it hits the railing. And this railing must have been really like flimsy or something was wrong with it, because the railing like folds over and the really heavy thing topples off the side. So the really heavy thing falls like 20 feet, so it picks up a lot of like momentum, and it slams into one of the motors for the ship. So at this point, the Minecraft kid stops being angry because he's like, uh-oh. And they both look over the edge, and they see like this motor, like this really big motor for the ship, like sparking and starting to catch fire. And the Minecraft kid's like, dude, I can't believe you just did that. And the subscriber's like, dude, shut up. You obviously did that. And so anyways, right, he's like, you know, it doesn't matter. We have to go find someone. So they start running around, and they find like some maintenance worker who's just like walking around, or they find someone who can talk to a maintenance worker. They tell them something fell. They didn't say that they pushed it, right? And so the guy walks over, looks at it, and like looks really scared. So they're all like, the guy's like, I need you boys to go back to your cabin. Like, I'll figure this out. So they go back to their cabins, and they're both sitting in there, and they're not saying anything to their parents, right? And that's when there's like a loudspeaker announcement, like, everyone, like, go back to your cabins. Like, we're going to need you to go back to your cabins for the next X amount of time, right? So it's a little weird because that's not a thing that they do. It's not like you have a fire drill on a cruise ship in the middle of the ocean. So so they were supposed to be kind of like sitting out there for a while, but the subscriber looks outside and notices that they're moving, right? They're moving or something. So the subscriber's dad is like, what's going on here? Whatever. He tries to like leave, and like, not security guards, but people keep coming back and through and be like, guys, like, you need to stay in your little ship location or your little cabin. And so for the next 6 hours, they're moving, but they're not really sure where they're going. And that's when the subscriber notices that they're approaching a dock. And the dock that they're approaching is the dock that they left.
So the subscriber's dad, or the subscriber says this to his dad, and his dad's like, what? Like, we paid good money and we're coming back now. So yeah, eventually, like, they dock, and something on the loudspeaker says, like, there was a terminal issue with one of the components of our ship. You know, we had to redock. We understand the inconveniences. Like, you can stay on the ship for the next 4 days, but we will not be in the ocean, or you can return home. You can go to our website to request a partial or full refund, depending on your situation or whatever, blah, 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 stuff like that. And the subscriber at this point realizes that the whole reason that they had to redock was that the Minecraft kid got so mad that the subscriber was caught talking with this girl who was going to be his quote unquote Minecraft girlfriend. That he decided went on a crazy rampage and accidentally blew up one of the motors for the ship, causing it to start getting water in an emergency evacuation back to the dock. Yeah, all over this girl not being his Minecraft girlfriend. Typical Minecraft kid behavior, I do say so.